I want to enjoy our birth. I want to walk out of this hospital with a baby joyful. I want to be empowered. I want to be changed. I want to be transformed. I want to be just joyful that I did that. And even if it's a C-section at the end of the day, I want to be happy about this and I want to enjoy every moment, because how many times do you give birth? Hello friends, I'm back. It's my second video. Hey, welcome. This is my channel. I'm Chabeli and I'm here to tell you about my birth. If you haven't seen my first video, check this out, because I'm talking about how I prepared for a pain-free birth, and sometimes I'm referring to maybe that video, so check this out first. And if you have seen my first video, thank you very much for coming back. And I told you that next time, which is this time, I will tell you about my birth. I'm so excited. Bobby is napping, so I will do this as long as she's sleeping. So at first, disclaimer. Every baby, every woman, every birth is unique. So I'm going to tell you our story, what we experienced, but don't get it wrong. It does not mean that if you do all the preparations I did, if you process in the labor how I did, that it has to be your birth, that you have to have the exact same birth. So I am doing this video as an encouragement, because I believe with my whole heart, I say it again and again, that every woman can give birth pain-free, and I want to destroy and tear down this narrative of birth as a very painful, negative process, as something that is happening to you. That is the reason. So please take for yourself what is helping, take for yourself what is encouraging. If you feel like, okay, this wasn't like my story, or I cannot come to an agreement with you on that topic, let it drop. Just take what is helpful for you. So I think I will just start telling the story. It was the 27th of July where I had my normal routine check. We made an ultrasound and he checked everything. Then he realized, he saw on the ultrasound that I did not have a lot of amniotic fluid. Bobby had a lot of it in the bladder, but still it was a bit alarming for him. He said that we shouldn't worry at all, we shouldn't be afraid or whatever, we just have to keep an eye on it. Well, he informed us about this situation and we sat down and we talked about induction. And I was like, what? Excuse me? I mean, as I said, I made the pain-free birth course and I knew that interventions like an induction of labor is no good. No. Because when you start with one thing, there is an epidural that you have to make because it's so much more painful. You have to do a lot of stuff if you start with an intervention. I just knew, I learned it in the pain-free birth course, that at the end maybe you have to get a cesarean, a C-section or whatever. So I was very skeptic and I told him, I asked him, hey, is it really necessary? Because I knew that this could lead to a very bad spiral. And then, we let it be. He checked if there was amniotic fluid coming out of me and he saw nothing. So we just went home and he said that we have to keep an eye on it. When I was home, I was cooking dinner and suddenly I realized while walking that there was like more fluid coming out, but I didn't know if it was mucus plug or if it was pee, or because the baby pushes on your bladder all the time when you're shortly before giving birth. It's annoying. And I was insecure, and then we just sat down, we were eating our dinner, and every time that I had to get up from the I was sitting on the gymnastic ball, and every time that I stood up, there was not like a waterfall coming out of me, but it was dripping very frequently. But I decided to just eat my dinner, and when I finished and stood up, I realized that my pants, I had like sport pants on, and they were soaking wet, like really, really wet. And I never like peed myself. So I went to the bathroom, I looked at the pants, and I was like, okay, this is a big amount, and I feel like this is amniotic fluid coming out. So I called the hospital. I told them that I think probably my water broke, but I'm not sure about that. And they said that if it is my water that broke, I should keep an eye on my feeling if I have any contractions. And I did that. I took a walk with Memphis, and then nothing really happened. I felt that it was a bit like something was happening, but it was happening for the last 2 weeks at that point, because I felt like my body was preparing for birth. And I said to some of my friends, like, I do not believe that Bobby is coming at my due date. My due date was the 14th of August, by the way. And at this point, it was 2 weeks, even more than 2 weeks earlier. It was the 27th, 7th of July, as I said. And I told them, I really do believe that this baby is coming earlier than the 14th of August. And they were like, no, girl, it's the first baby. It always takes longer than your due date, whatever. And I was like, nah, my body's preparing, I know. And I thought it was this kind of feeling when I was walking, the tension, everything. I thought my body was just getting ready. So then I went to bed at, I don't know, around about 10, 11 o'clock or so. And I woke up at 1 o'clock because I had kind of a crampy feeling. And I was insecure, but I was just breathing through it and fell asleep again and woke up again at 3 or 4 o'clock. No, I don't know, 3 o'clock or something. And then I decided to get up because I really thought, okay, I think labor is starting. I still wasn't really sure at that point, and I think I took a shower. I took a shower just to see if the contractions were getting stronger or less, because they say when you're in labor and you take a shower or you take a warm bath and it gets stronger, so then it's like definite that you're in labor, but like nothing really happened for me at this point. And I went on my gymnastic ball, did my spinning baby things to induce the labor, and from like 4 until 5 o'clock I had very regularly contractions from, sorry, my brain is so smushy right now. If I look tired, it's because I am. So is my brain. So I was on my birthing ball and I did the exercises that I knew, that I learned about, and I had very frequent contractions. I had them like every 5 minutes, at least 30 to 50 seconds, which wasn't that long, but there was something happening. And then I called the hospital again at 6 o'clock or so and told them about it, and they said to me already the evening before that my water broke around about 7 o'clock, and they said that if you don't have if you're not contracting enough, you have to get to the hospital so that they can check up on you regularly, because when you lose amniotic fluid, when your water broke and the baby is kind of not coming, labor hasn't started, it can be dangerous because of bacteria and everything. So they told me, I knew that I have to get there around about 7 o'clock, and then my husband and we drove to Uster at 7 o'clock in the morning. Then at the hospital, they checked everything. They made a CTG and they made a test on my panties to see if it was really amniotic fluid. And there the test was positive. So we definitely knew, okay, yesterday at 7 o'clock, it was my water that broke. It was my water that was coming out, amniotic fluid. So I was officially like in labor, kind of. That's the thing, like my water broke, but labor didn't really start properly. So they gave us our room then. We went to our room and put everything on its place, made us comfy, made us ready. And I was just there thinking, okay, this thing is going to get started now. I'm ready, I'm activated. But it was a lot of waiting. So when we received our room and we're chilling there, we had breakfast, we're eating very yummy, just waiting, like the midwives checking on us, checking on me all the time, but not in a disturbing way, like I'm just saying regularly. And like nothing was really happening. I had some contractions like all 30 to 50 minutes or so, and then we decided to go outside and just to walk a bit to keep things going. And suddenly at 10 o'clock, round about 10 o'clock, my contractions were just gone. I had barely a contraction, and it was just maybe one in an hour or so. And it was so frustrating because I was like, okay, I mean, I'm here. I'm at the hospital now. Shouldn't this thing be starting now, or what is happening? So we took another nap and we were eating, and someone, they brought us lunch, and I was just sitting there eating my lunch, and I said to my husband, hey, this is so strange. I mean, I feel like I'm in a hotel. Shouldn't I be here giving birth to my daughter the 28th of July? Yeah, we were kind of confused. Okay, so hours went by. We were walking outside the hospital. We took a lot of stairs. We were even eating ice cream. We had to walk very slowly because, of course, like everything was very tensed and baby was coming. So it was a lot of waiting, a lot of prayers, a lot of listening to worship, a lot of calming down, a lot of napping, a lot of drinking, staying hydrated. And then the afternoon came. And at this point, we were probably already from 7 o'clock in the morning till 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were there and just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then the midwife started to talk to us about induction. The 24-hour mark was coming closer and closer and closer, and we knew, okay, this does not look really good. We were communicating a lot with our prayer group and asked them if they could pray that this labor can start natural, because I wished for it so badly, that I can do everything natural and unmedicated and whatever. Anyways, she talked to us, the midwife talked to us about induction and said that we could also try some different stuff that is more natural and is here to help me with my own contraction, like strengthening my own contractions. We tried like a powder thing that I had to swallow every 30 minutes, and it was not even that bad. It was kind of helpful, but still like too less. Like my contractions still were too weak, not too long, and they were not close enough together for really calling it labor. It was more like things getting started, getting prepared, and at this point a woman would stay at her home and labor at home, because also it didn't hurt at all. It was just kind of a strong feeling. But the thing is, because my water broke, I had to be there. I think this was very frustrating, being like in the same room all the time. Or of course we were walking outside, but still, like, you're in the hospital, you're waiting for it to start, and you're just like, okay, can we get this thing started? And then I was walking a lot of stairs. My goodness, I was walking a lot of stairs and walking outside and napping. I feel like I am repeating myself, but it's because this is all I did for nearly 20 hours. I don't know. Then around about 6 or 7 o'clock or so, she came in again, the midwife. The midwife had now changed like already 2 or 3 times at this point, because we were there the whole day. But they were all so nice and kind, really. I loved them, every one of them. Then the midwife said, hey, in like 1-2 hours, it's going to be 24 hours. So we are getting close to this mark of, okay, we have to induce the labor. And I never felt like they pushed it on me, or I never felt that they were mean in a way or so. I really felt and knew that they just want to do like the best for me and for my baby. And I think I could have fought it. I could have fought against the fact that they want to induce the labor, But at this point, I wanted to trust them what they say because it's my first baby, my first labor. So she brought us like a paper where everything was written down about induction, like the different types of getting induced. And I asked her if I could have like a minute with Fabio alone. And then we prayed about it, and I felt that I was really frustrated because I wished and prayed so much for this natural birth, and I prepared in every thinkable way that was in my power. I did all the physical part, I did the mental part, I did the spiritual part. We had so many people praying for us, and for me it was kind of unbelievable that I was in this situation. And at this point there was something very important happening, because I told my husband, I was like, hey honey, I want to enjoy our birth. I want to walk out of this hospital with a baby joyful. I want to be empowered. I want to be changed. I want to be transformed. I want to be just joyful that I did that. And even if it's a C-section at the end of the day, I want to be happy about this, and I want to enjoy every moment, because how many times do you give birth? I mean, of course, yes, as many times as you have children, but how many times are you really able to enjoy this process? And I was so empowered and genuinely optimistic about my birth. And this is also because of preparation. Again, exclamation mark, y'all, do not go with the flow, because if I wouldn't have prepared, how would I have acted in that way, in this situation? How would I have decided? I do not know. But because I was prepared and I knew that things can happen, I didn't have to go with the flow. So at this point, as I said, we were having this talk, and I said to my husband, hey, I know that there are women who had C-sections and they said that it was heavenly, it was beautiful. So I knew that it is now on me, on my mind, that I have to decide at this point that I will enjoy whatever comes, and I will let go of what I cannot control. And this is advocating for your mind. Do the mental work before labor, because I had the strength to decide how I think about where we were. So we prayed again, and I felt that I want to get this thing going. I don't want to wait no longer. We have been waiting now for 24 hours for this labor to start, and we told the midwife that we agree and that we want to have the induction. The doctor came in, was a very nice lady. She was very kind, and she said to me, battery was off, sorry. Okay, the doctor came in and she explained everything to me, and she said that when you induce labor, it hurts way more than normal labor. And I did not accept this. I broke this in my spirit right away, because I thought, you do not know my God. For God, nothing is impossible, and He can make it possible that I am induced and I won't feel any pain. It's possible, I believe it. And this was also, that's also a reason why you should prepare spiritually. Go and read the Bible and check what God says about your body, what God says about women. We are made to give birth. We have the hormones. We have everything needed to give birth, natural. So after our talk and our prayer, we really felt like God gives us the go. We really felt that it's okay to get induced at this point. And this is also something that I want to emphasize. This is unique. I wouldn't recommend for every woman just to get right away induced if they are waiting 24 hours for their labor to start. But I believe that every woman is made to give birth. She has everything already in her body to give birth pain-free. But the thing is, as I said, it's the mental part that destroys a lot of it. Like, I feel like 90% of labor is decided by your mental state and how you feel about being in labor. And I really feel this so heavy on my heart that so many women do not believe that they have what they need to give birth. They feel like they're dependent from doctors and medication, and your circumstances and whatever, but you can advocate for your birth. You can make your own decisions because it's your birth, it's your baby. And of course, you have not studied medicine or whatever, but you're a mama. You have something like an instinct. And I hate that people make it look like all the mamas who are giving birth have like no idea of nothing because they didn't study anything. I mean, hello? They have a brain, they have senses, they have, as I said, hormones. Your body is working with you. Just had this on my heart. I want to empower you, mama. You can give birth pain-free. You can give birth on your own. You could give birth alone in your home. Your body knows what to do. And if you prepare, you also know what to do. So they checked on me and my cervix was still closed. Like I dilated nothing. The whole day I had contractions. I was walking. They were not really strong, but still I was working on it. And I dilated nothing. They said that my cervix was just soft. And this was also pretty frustrating, but also kind of a confirmation for me that I want to get induced. I don't want to wait no more because I'm done. Then they put like a thing inside of me to start like stronger contractions, and I asked the doctor how long we have to wait until labor will start. Like how long do I still have to walk and whatever until I will have proper contractions? She said, yeah, that's the thing, like it could be like 10 minutes to 24 hours. I was like, what? Another 24 hours? No. So I wrote to my prayer group again, or my husband wrote to the prayer group, and we prayed again because I was begging God that he would get this thing started in the next minutes and not 20 freaking 4 hours. Thank God he heard us because they put this thing inside of me, and y'all, minutes later, this thing started to kick in. Oh my goodness. I was contracting. And we were so, like, even now when I think about it, I was so happy and enthusiastic, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give birth to this baby girl. And the contractions were very strong and I loved it. And I will tell you in a minute how that felt, like how contractions feel. But yeah, I was contracting at least every 3 minutes. This thing was going, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. And at this point, I will tell you about our contraction ritual. I also like to call them waves because it feels like a wave. Okay, there are different types of contractions that you can have, like the contractions at the beginning, and then the contractions while transitioning, and then the pushing contractions. And I was like still at the state of beginning. I told you that my cervix was very closed. It was just a little bit soft, but it was still closed. First, I have to tell you what I heard, what contractions feel like. Do you see the light? No. At first, I heard contractions feel like cramping when you're on your period, like very strong back pain, or like, what else? I think that's the main thing I heard. Like if you would be on your period and have a lot of cramping, a lot of like your period, and it's way stronger. And during preparation I was like, because I mean I already know period cramping, it's the worst, really, it's the worst. So of course I was curious how this is going to feel, and I'm here to tell you it's not like period cramps. No, of course it's for me. As I said, it's unique, I'm unique, my uterus is unique, everything is unique. And I was so glad when I realized that for me, it does not feel at all like cramping when you're on your period. Because if that would have been the case, I would have gone an epidural when I realized my water broke. But it was. I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm so excited when I think again about the contractions, but I think I'm just so happy that it's not at all how I imagined it, because for me it felt like this very crazy energy, this wave of energy floating through your whole body. It's really like either you can be in the way of the wave, or you just try to relax every freaking muscle in your whole body to let your body work. And this is the thing, why you have to prepare breathing technique and you're trying to relax your whole body. For example, as a preparation, I held 2 cubes of ice cubes, in my hand, and while doing that I tried to relax as much as possible and try to feel where I had tensions in my body so that I could focus on that to relax. Got it? Because it's the same thing with contractions. When I was contracting, I was very keen to relax every muscle, and my husband was the best because the hip squeezes. The hip squeezes. Those women who already gave birth, they know what I'm talking about. Like when Bobby was at the beginning of at the level of the hip bones, hip squeezes are your lifesaver because you have to put your hands in here and just squeeze the hip, and then it relieves it relieves so much of the pressure. Like it takes away the pressure. They were so good. Like it felt like, imagine you have a very heavy backpack on and someone is like, hey, I'm gonna take it for you, give it to me, and you can just let that backpack down and you feel so much lighter and less pressured. And that's the exact feeling I had when my husband did the hip squeezes. So they were fantastic. Hey, my concentration is really leaving my head. I'm tired, as I said. We're in the midst of moving, and I think I will continue tomorrow or so. See you. Bye.